And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate, hosted by yours truly. I'm Ray, a bearded man of real estate. And we have a very special show today. It is the prediction special. Yeah. I've got those sound effects. I just did not push it. So this is also episode 345 of This Week in Real Estate. Isn't that fun? And hopefully this is recording. It's kind of giving me a weird warning. I just hope it's recording. We'll see. If it's not recorded, hey, it doesn't get recorded this year. That's it. But thanks for joining us live. This year, it's a little bit different. If you're watching this live and you're like, how can I participate in this prediction special? You can make a comment and I can display your comment, just like others have already commented. So Hillary, I can't display I even started. Hillary was here a long time ago and she commented, I can display it. There's Matt Lamarche's here. He says first for the last one. You were actually second, but it didn't keep the pre-live today, so I don't know why. Dusty Martin's here. She said next year's rate prediction, 6.32%. I don't know why. It just feels right. There you go. We're going to be taking predictions all show, so drop them in the comments. There's several categories of prediction. I can display that. If you want to add your voice to the podcast, you could go down to the show description, and there's a link to Clubhouse. You could join the Clubhouse room, and then you can be heard, just like several members of the community will be today. So we'll be taking 4 main predictions. Okay? 4 main predictions. The first prediction you can predict is rates. What's the rate going to be at the end of the year? The second prediction, what's up? I got a big Instagram. I'm glad we fixed that because you guys are over on Instagram. Hey guys, Randy Castle 007. That's a good Instagram name. Let's go. Ray, your North GA Realtor. Oh, okay, Georgia Realtor. Hey, what's up? Mia Zoll's there. What's up, Mia? What was last year? Even if you don't belong. What? Scap is here. He said, I predict any prediction I make this year will once again never happen. Yeah, a couple of years ago, there was some predictions you made that were off, but I think you were in on the rate prediction, if you recall. I think Scap said the rate would be somewhere between 4 and 9%. So I can safely go ahead and reveal, Scap, that you're right. So make the rate prediction. The other predictions that we have that I would like for you to make today are, what is the biggest news story going to be of 2026? So what do you think the big news story? It could be in housing. I kind of prefer housing stuff, but you can make a prediction outside of that. And then what is your bold prediction? Now, this is something that people may call you conspiracy theorist. They may say there's no way this would actually happen, but it's something that you actually believe might happen. So what is your bold prediction? And then what's the market going to be like? Is it going to be a buyer's market, seller's market? Is it going to crash? What's going to happen in the market? So those are the 4 main questions that I'm giving you at the top of the show, so that you could go ahead and drop your predictions into the comments. If you're watching this in the replay, there's also going to be a breakdown with timestamps of whenever we get into this. Believe it or not, last year when I replayed the show as I was getting the predictions, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to look back and say, okay, of all the predictions we made last year, what actually happened? What came true? Were we right? And how right have we been? So we're going to be talking about that. But we have some big news. Last year was like, there's no news. It was December 18th last year when we went live on the 300th show. The 300th show was a big deal. That was like 6 years of podcasting. Today's 345. So we did 45 shows this last year. That's a lot. 52 weeks in the year, 45 shows. That means there were only 7 weeks that we did not have a show. So, and yeah, that's wild. It feels like I've done it every week, but I know there had to be some weeks here and there that didn't get the show. Oh, wait, there's still 2 weeks left in the year. So actually there's only 5 Wednesdays or 4 Wednesdays that we didn't have a show. So yeah, that's pretty much every week. Fun times. But we have some big news. So I'm going to get started today right with this big news, because it's not every day that you get somebody in the news that gives Zillow a run for their money. And the person that I saw that broke this, I could be wrong, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but on December 12th, Mike Del Preet is the one that I saw that broke this news story. I'm going to get you some tunes. I see your text. No tunes. Can't hear. Okay. So see how quickly we get used to the tunes and we want them? I don't mind it. I like the tunes.
Unless it sounds like you're about to get a massage, which, to be clear,
it kind of does.
After listening to last week's show, I thought there was like this background noise that I was hearing in my AirPods, and I took one out and it stopped. And I was like, oh, it's in the show.
You don't like it?
It did remind me to go get a massage. So
it is kind of relaxing. It kind of depends. Some weeks it's a little more peppy. Today it's definitely going to be more relaxing. It'll be more in the massage realm of the equation. So see, there you go. Even the hollow wind sounds. Okay, well first, since you're here, Matt, let's talk about this one. Here we go. Sharing this tab instead. Big news. You could even say it's breaking news because this just happened 3 hours ago. So before we get into what Mike Del Preet broke, let's get into I cannot find my breaking news sounder. Hang on. Stay tuned. One moment, please. I'm a professional, I promise. 7 years of podcasting. Breaking news from This Week in Real Estate. Well, that's right. Matt LaMarche steps down from the ARA and YPN once he figures out what the Y in YPN stands for. So there you go. Congrats, Matt, on stepping down. There's my breaking news post on your.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's young at heart as well as young professional.
Oh yeah, that's what they all say. But come on, man.
Yeah.
The 12-year-olds that go to that meeting, no, it should not be young at heart.
Like, that's what the old people say.
That's right. Well, why are we only doing happy hours? Oh, I don't know. That's what young people like to do. But no, I appreciate it. I wanted to make it abundantly clear somewhere in that post, though, that I was not asked to leave. Because I think it could be misconstrued at times, my position on Realtor associations. But to make it clear,
all right,
it was a good experience.
It was a good experience. Okay,
in some level, for sure.
I am involved with the podcast. I can't in good. This is my excuse, Matt. I can't in good conscience join a board on which I report on and have to be, impartial towards. Right.
Right. Yeah, I mean, no, you've got a point.
Is it a paid position, Matt?
Undisclosed.
Never mind, I might join. Send me a text how much it is. No. Pays a lot more than this podcast. No. Okay.
Whatever. I hear the Malaysian.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. We're like number 16 over there in Tibet.
Not a paid position. Definitely very volunteer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's go to Mike Del Preet's actual breaking news story. It might be a little bit bigger than what's happening at the Atlanta Realtors Association. It is Google enters the portal wars. Dun. Oh wait, hang on. Nope. I should just instead of where. No, I don't have it. I really thought I had the dun-dun, but it's a different dun-dun. It's this dun-dun.
I'm still waiting for my
one.
Christmas soundboard.
Yeah, we just don't have it, And this kind of goes back to why we don't have a bunch of guests on the show right now is because I've been really I don't know if you guys have been busy, but oddly busy for December. We have a listing that went live yesterday. We have 2 listings that are going live today. Another one going live tomorrow. That's 4 listings going live in the last 3 days. One of them already had a showing on it because the person saw the sign and was like, I've got to see this house. So what in the world? But that's why, sorry guys, I dropped the ball and that's why we don't have guests because I actually still have to sell houses because the podcast isn't pay very much. Now, if Google enters the portal wars, real estate may not be paying much either. So your boy gonna be at McDonald's. This is what it looks like though. The Mike Dupree had screenshots from it. Basically, it's a sponsored search. When someone searches, and they're searching in incognito mode, but when someone searches homes for sale Chicago, it's a sponsored search result that shows properties, and it says 1 day on the market, 4 days on the market. It's got a photo of the property for the audio listeners. It's got a price right under the property, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and the address of the property, the MLS number, and then there's a person's name. And I'm assuming the person's name is the listing agent. And then you can basically filter. It's got a filters button above that search result, and you can filter by price, beds and baths, and more, and the more is cut off. This is a mobile view. Same thing for homes for sale Denver, homes for sale Austin. So the first thing you should do, if you're not in a market where these are open yet, is to buy the keywords homes for sale and then your city, because people are going to be testing this. And if you're not a doofus, you want to go ahead and appear in this search result before whatever company's doing this takes over. Now, this is not just real estate listings listed through Google. These are real estate listings on a third-party website that are then served to customers through a sponsored search. So there was some confusion. Some people thought that people were actually uploading listings natively to Google, or that they were somehow, I don't know, like going into the MLS, like an IDX feed, and they are apparently not. And I'm not sure exactly how the ad works, but here's Mike Delpreet's take on it. He says, why it matters. Oh, this was a good phrase. He said, sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I think this might be one of those. And then he has these 3 images. Why it matters. Google putting for sale listings directly into search results, even if it's a test, is a big deal. The functionality includes a full property details pages, links to request to tour, and contact an agent. You know, the core business model of real estate portals. This appears to be a test in a limited number of markets only on mobile. So here's again what they look like. Whenever you click the listing, there's some small photos of the property. I'm assuming you can click the photo and see a larger version. It's got a picture of the listing agent and a ask a question button, like a little tiny circle with the listing agent. It's got additional details of the property. It's got a request tour button, which I guess goes to the third party. Maybe the ask a question also goes to the third party. And then it says find a time. You can actually schedule a time for a call through the Google page. And then it also has like almost like a trimmed down Google business listing, or maybe it is the full Google business listing. It's the Baird Group, BAIRD Group is the one on the sponsored search results. 648 stars, by the way, reviews. That's a lot. And there's a whole bunch of photos. I'm assuming it's pulling those photos from the person's business listing page. So, I mean, first, way better display and way better product than Zillow. It's not trying to give you all of the information. It's not even assuming that it has all the information. It's basically saying, here's the information and here's where we're getting it from. So, and it looks like a Google product listing, which people are so used to clicking on and seeing. I think this is way better. Is this in anyone's market that is currently on the call? I would love to see what your take is on it. Let's see. Dusty Martin Realtor says, so agents / MLSs are mad that Google is better at SEO, coding, and tech development. Shocker. No, actually, I'm not mad at this. I think the person who is most mad at this is named Zillow. Now, Zillow said that they're not mad about this. And maybe that's because Zillow knows that the end result might be feeding its own listings into the product. And the reason why I say this is because this statement from Mike, it says, it appears this partnership with Come Home, COMEHOME, by House Canary and property results are not supplied or sponsored by the listing agents or brokers. Isn't that interesting? So Come Home, I believe, is a third-party website / competitor to Zillow. And then you see this disclaimer: these results are curated section of properties brought to you in paid partnership between Google and Come Home. Property results are not supplied or sponsored by listing agents. So if this is a paid partnership to get a third-party IDX feed into Google, then the person with the most money that would be able to do this most frequently, wouldn't that be Zillow? I mean, couldn't they just buy all the spots? Which means your flex fee is going to go up to 45%. And how do you compete with that? Maybe Google says no, and they're not going to use that. But I mean, if they're partnering with a third-party IDX, then or a third-party website, I don't see why not. They're not partnering with individual agents to do this yet.
Hey, Ray, could I hop in?
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Cindy?
Hi, everybody. So it is my understanding that House Canary, which you just mentioned, where they're going to get their data, has now become, just like Zillow did, a brokerage in all 50 states.
Okay.
So then, just like Zillow will have that access, and that's all they need is the IDX feed.
Yeah.
And that will include states like Utah and Texas. They're non-disclosure states. Then they'll be able to get in and get that data also. That's what Zillow led the way with.
Does that mean so that if they're using a broker that has that access, then why not partner with a real estate agent? And I guess the answer would be because it's not free and they're going to go to the highest bidder. Right?
Yes, but Google has a whole bunch of other stuff where they will be getting paid with all their new releases and the Gmail situation with the new terms and service on Gmail. Everybody, you need to read that carefully and maybe turn it off if you don't want them to have access to all your emails and anyway,
I feel like they kind of already have it. Yeah, I think they already kind of have access to everyone. If you're using a free product, they have access to it. If it's a paid product, it's a little bit different. But if you're using a free product, you are the product.
Yes. So this House Canary.
Yeah, Scap says House Canary was originally a company to provide automated valuation, AVMS, automated valuation models. What's the AVMS stand for? For lenders. Isn't that automated valuation? But what's the MS? When they realized their algorithms are as bad as Zillow, they shifted to agents. Okay. House Canary was trying to get into the appraisal space and it failed. Well, they made a splash with this one, man. This was big news that caught a lot of people by surprise. Mike Del Preet goes on to say the bottom line, there's a lot of potential implications here, from the incumbent portals to exclusive listings to AI or international. But for now, it's all speculation. Let's see how it plays out. I think so. On news for this, Google entering the portal wars, Zillow's stock crashed basically, which I don't think it's going to take them down. It may cost them more money. I think the lawsuits are a bigger issue for Zillow right now than Google or Amazon entering the real estate space through the portals. I wish, and this kind of goes back to the housing predictions, but I wish Google would say, hey, NAR, let's partner with you. And let's make this accessible to all the agents that want to pay and set up some kind of like pay per listing or pay to feed all your listings type of program. And then you have a national search that is just done by Google.
Right? Take control of our. Well, that's Google asking us for our information.
Getting our data.
I would love.
Basically,
love to hear.
we could sell the data to
NAR
them
say,
at a price that we don't ever have to pay NAR ever again. Right? I mean,
yeah. Right.
if you list at least 5 listings per year, your dues are free, because that listing data then goes to, I mean, something like that would be cool. But sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
What would be cool is if NAR took control of our data.
Yeah.
Period.
And it's kind of what we're there for. So
You would think.
let's see. I'm checking. Let's see. Not showing here in Atlanta yet. Okay. It's in Denver. Where were these locations? Denver, Austin, Chicago. So, and I guess, like, how do they determine which property goes there? It's just house for sale. There's a filter, but it's implying that you're filtering the entire MLS when you are actually probably filtering a set of properties, a select set that are approved for that kind of marketing, maybe? Or is it the highest bidder who wants to send their IDX feed to Google? See, that's the confusing part. That's the part I can't, like, I have an IDX feed. Every brokerage in the country has an IDX feed. So I could just pay Google and send my IDX feed to Google. And then it looks at every property on the market, but it's listing the listing agent. And so why would I pay for my IDX feed to go to Google and list the listing agent? So that's not, that doesn't work. So it would have to be some kind of service, some kind of third party that's doing that on behalf of the agents. I don't know. It's a little confusing. I don't understand exactly how they would delineate who pays them what and what for. You know those phone calls that we all get as real estate agents that say we are a partner company with Google, and this is just going to lead to a whole bunch of those calls for us. We thought the insurance was bad, guys. It's going to be a lot.
I get both of those. I got one today.
Yep. Constantly.
And forget the calls. They text you nonstop.
They're not supposed to, but they do.
Yeah, really.
Yep. Okay. Let me make sure that was it. That was the biggest news story of the day, which is it's pretty huge. Broke Agent Media kind of has the same article, same topic. Is Google coming for Zillow? Their take on it is just what Mike Delpreet actually shared. Full property pages displayed directly in Google search results, built-in options for request a tour, direct contact options suggested by Google, mobile-friendly experience. Powered through a partnership with Come Home by House Canary. I feel like that's got to go away. I don't understand. If somebody's actually searching the entire market, that partnership has to end, and they just have to feed the IDX. Or we all have local ad services where real estate agents register, and we register. That would be the way to do it. Like we're only going to pull listings that are attached to the agents that have registered for our real estate agent program. That could do that way, but what service are they going to use to pull it? I don't know.
Certainly feeds into the speculation as to what could be the top story a year from now, right?
Yeah, for sure. Is Google in, or are they out? This test might confirm that real estate agents are people they just don't want to deal with. Try Googling homes for sale. Only plans and prefab homes show up. Interesting.
Yeah, at least for me. When I go to the shopping tab.
Oh, in the shopping tab. Yeah.
Yeah. But only because nothing comes up except for homes.com, Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, homes.com. Yeah. If you go to the shopping tab, at least here in Atlanta, and it is tracking my location.
Google homes for sale in Atlanta. Does the same thing pop up?
Yeah.
Okay.
On both accounts. Lenore is running an ad right now at the moment, but
See,
it should be.
Yeah, you should definitely buy that ad space, bruh.
Lamar.
Yeah. Yeah. Faux cheesy.
I don't know. Just a quick little housekeeping thing. I don't know if on YouTube, if it's just me, but like you're tiny and then the shared screen piece.
Yeah, that's
like
So, little inside baseball.
Okay.
So this is, I created a whole bunch of layouts for StreamYard to use, and they are looking at them. There's a StreamYard group that you can get in. And in that StreamYard group, they said that yes, they're taking a look at them. But basically, there's a new layout. How I can show this. I have a new vertical layout and also a wide layout. So if you're watching on mobile version or on the vertical version of YouTube, which actually has a mobile feed right now, then you will see me tiny at the bottom, and then the article kind of still small across the middle. If you're watching the big feed, you see me laid over the article as if I'm a React streamer. Okay. The way I want it to work is that on the vertical feed, I cover like the bottom or top half, and then the article is the other bottom or top half. And so I created a bunch of layout options saying, all right, if this is the big layout, then this should be the vertical layout. And they are looking at those. Hopefully they will update them. But yeah, it depends on what feed you're looking at on mobile.
Yeah, it's interesting because on mobile, it is showing both as live at the moment.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it has increased the number of viewers. I've done it for 2 or 3 weeks now, and it has increased the number. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I say we're testing it, but it's just me. I mean, it's just me over here. All right. The other news story that came out today that I just want to cover real briefly is the mortgage rates. So we know that the Fed lowered the rate. And of course, as all lenders like to remind you, that is a direct correlation to your mortgage rate. Lenders love it when you say that. So because the Fed lowered the rate, obviously your mortgage rates also went down, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's not how it works.
Isn't that right? And I think that's right. I think that's what that's what Andy was texting me in private.
Ray, you're an influential person in real estate. You can't be throwing shit like that around.
Not how any of this works.
That's not how any of this works. That's a perfect commercial reference for this.
This week in ADD real estate.
All right. Mortgage rates move higher after the Fed rate cut. What? Mortgage rates move higher? The Federal Reserve cut its benchmark interest rate last week, and just as it happened the last 2 times the mortgage rates rose, caused demand for home loans refinances to drop. Let's see, the mortgage application volume fell 3.8%. The applications to refi fell 4%. Applications to purchase a home fell 3%. So some of that could be a little bit seasonal. They were still 13% higher year over year. So, I mean, still better than it was last year, guys, which again, they should really lead with that headline instead of, slashes demand or whatever that it normally says. So there you go. Rates changed. And then after the rates changed, after the Fed changed the rates actually went up, which I think we said would happen. One of the reasons we say it's going to happen is it always happens like a day or two after the rates, it goes up a little bit. The question is, will it come back down? That's a bigger question. And I think it's bigger right now because we're not sure exactly what the Fed is going to do next year, which kind of leads us into the back half of the show, which are a lot about predictions. If the Fed changes people, I can't remember when they change. I want to say it's like for some reason I want to say it's in June, but I could be wrong. But if the Fed changes to someone that is very friendly with Trump's policies, there may be a lot of rate cuts in the future. So there's a little uncertainty in what's going to happen. So that volatility will also keep rates a little bit higher.
I found it interesting that he had to make a comment about next year, knowing that he's going to leave in May. He's done in May.
Okay, so it is May.
Know who the first, it is May, and we don't know who the next person is. I'm sure that's going to be somewhat of a political fight to get the next person in there because I believe Congress has to approve that. But still, you get the right person in there who, I don't know, looks at the numbers differently, then yeah, we could have multiple rate cuts beyond just the maybe 2 that he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But he loves to do that. He loves to give you something positive and to come back and just kind of swipe it out for something negative, which to me is just playing politics. Honestly.
Yeah, I think he's been playing politics this whole time with the rates because,
absolutely.
You know, I think if Biden were still in the White House, you probably would have seen a 0.5 point cut or something like that, just because it looks like the economy
probably for different reasons too. Because we don't know how the economy would be under Biden. I mean, we can make assumptions based off of what it was before, what was happening before, but if the economy got worse, then absolutely we would be seeing more rate cuts and bigger rate cuts.
Yeah.
But there again, he started this by keeping the rates way too low for way too long, and now way too high for too long.
Yeah, yeah, he's got a holdout issue. All right, let me get to. I used AI to help me do something this year because I don't know if y'all noticed this, but it's harder to find the predictions and the forecast of companies except for Redfin, Compass. Who else was that I found? Realtor.com and someone else. They were easy, but everyone else became harder. It was harder. I didn't even find a Goldman Sachs housing forecast like I found last year. I didn't find the CoreLogic because they changed their name to Cotality. Cotality? Cotality. Is that Cotality? Cotality? It's terrible. I don't like their new website layout. They don't have a forecast like they used to have a housing forecast. I don't like where they're headed as far as the new brand goes. Wasn't necessary and definitely didn't help. But anyway, almost all of the predictions were couched in articles that people put out on their own site. So you know how influencers in real estate will say, well, nobody wants to watch a housing update. So you can't call it housing market update. You need to call it something like, you won't believe what's happened in the 722 area code, whatever it is. That's kind of what everyone's doing. And it's annoying because I'm looking for a housing forecast. So I'm Googling housing forecast, Zillow, and it's not giving me what I'm looking for. Housing forecast, CoreLogic, it's not giving me what I'm looking for. Instead, CoreLogic said they had an article called 10 Things to Know About Housing in 2026. It's something else. They split it into 2 different articles. I didn't know. It was a mess. So I actually got ChatGPT to help me, and I gave it all the article and link resources. I did this with ChatGPT and Notebook LM for those of you who like the Google products. And I said, look at all of these sources and compare these sources with each other and put them in these categories. And I gave it the same categories that we use for the show. So it has the rate. It has a column for rate. It has a column for general market prediction. It's got a column for a bold news story, and it's got a column for mortgage. Let's see, what was the other one? Oh, it's only got Sorry, it's missing one of them. So I guess it's bold prediction and it's bold news story or major news prediction. That's what it did. It combined the bold news or major news story because it couldn't tell the difference in some of these cases. And most of the articles didn't have a bold prediction like we would. So it's oh, wow. Thanks, Matt. Look at that. I appreciate the coffee.
No,
That's cool.
that's the checks in the mail.
Yeah, thanks, man. Now that he's resigning, I guess you got those golden handcuffs. You'll still be paid for several years, so you're just.
Yeah, the residuals are insane. So it's the least I can do. The least I can do.
I think
Okay.
it's a gold watch, not gold handcuffs. Right?
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Am I missing
Yeah,
something
the
here?
handcuffs are off.
The handcuffs are off. Now he can do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of going article by article, which I did last year, I am going to give you guys the general overview from each article and each report because I think it just makes more sense. So I'm going to take it source by source and go through those sources. And then I'm going to look at the housing predictions that we made last year. And we're going to talk if those came true or not and what you guys think. I want you guys, especially in Clubhouse, to chime in on those. And then we'll be making our predictions for 2026. So we get to hear all the quote unquote experts before the actual experts on our show give the predictions. So here we go. NAR, National Association of Realtors. Their rate projection is an average of 6% for next year. That's what they do. They don't do an end of the year prediction like we do. Their general market prediction is that the market is expected to show positive recovery and opportunity. They forecast an overall 14% increase in existing home sales. And it's enabled by lower rates and rising inventory, which we kind of just talked about. If Trump gets his guy in there and rates lower big time, then yeah. But that also makes me think that if rates lower big time because of Trump's guy, that means that Jerome is probably not going to do anything. So yeah, I would say that there are going to be no rate drops until later.
I see him maybe doing one before he leaves office.
Possibly. I don't think that's going to be in the next meeting though. When was it in January or February? I don't think that's at the next meeting.
It's one, and it's probably take the under.
Yeah. And then recovery will be meaningful but uneven, is what NAR said. Their bold news or major news prediction is that the mortgage rate drop of 6% would unlock an estimated 5.5 million additional qualified home buyers, including about 1.6 million renters. And then they have 10 specific hotspots. You guys can go to the NAR magazine and check that out. So there you go. NAR says mortgage rate drop to 6%. There'll be 5.5 million additional qualified home buyers, including 1.6 million renters. We shall see. Okay, next up, Compass. Of all the, quick side story. I may have shared this before. When I was in college, I took an accounting class. And Tim West, Professor West, was my accounting teacher. Really, really fun, cool guy. And I am not great at the maths. I'm better now, but in college, I was not. I actually spent time after college learning more math because I was determined to actually understand it. And I was a little bit frustrated that I didn't understand it like I thought I should. So I'm in accounting. We have to put together a report for a company. And we have to make a determination based on the financials of that company, how that company would do and if they would be a good investment or not. I chose a company called Circuit City. I crunched all their numbers. I put it in a beautiful report. The report looked gorgeous. And my determination was, this is not a great company to invest in at the time. It did not look healthy based on the financials. For those of you who already know, and spoiler alert for the maybe millennials that don't, you probably can't find a Circuit City around these days. Oh no, I'm not going to put that up there, man. The YouTube commenters can enjoy that comment. So Circuit City went down, and my report said that it should go down. Now, my report was gorgeous. Like I said, I used a bunch of graphics. It was really pretty, and I got over 100 on that, and it was so good that Tim West said, "All right, everyone, I want you all to take a look at this report." And he started to go through this report, and he kind of went through it fast. And he said, "Now, it looks like it's an incredible report." And the conclusion, in my opinion, was correct. This is his opinion. In my opinion, was correct. However, the math in this is terrible. And I was like, oh, whoops, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get better at math. And he said, "But I'm here to tell you that in the future, the math won't be as important as the presentation and the interpretation of the data." Isn't that interesting? The math won't be as important as the presentation and interpretation of the data. So to Rick's earlier comment, you said there would be no math. Very limited math. So of all the reports that I read, and I don't know how their math checks out, but Compass by far had the prettiest report. You can actually go and download the PDF report from their housing market outlook. It's called 2026 Housing Market Outlook. And they have a website that kind of promotes the download. And the website is also gorgeous. The website's great. It's got really cool effects on it. It's well done. So of all the reports, the prettiest by far is Compass. Now let's see what their claims are. Compass says rates are expected to trade in a 5.9% to 6.9% range. What? That's kind of like Scap's prediction, somewhere between 4 and 9%. So they say average about 6.4% for the year. Okay. So they're taking an average. So I guess they're saying where, what the low is going to be and what the high is going to be. Okay. I can accept that. Forecast, but it's kind of a wide range. Forecast is flat national home prices at 0.5%. Plausible range negative 3.6% to positive 4.6%. It's going to be dependent on where you are in the country. The market should see a gradual return to normal and stability. Existing home sales are forecast to rise modestly, approximately 5% to 4.25 million home sales. And then their bold prediction that that we picked out of here is that the luxury tier will continue to outperform relative to entry-level properties. The economy will be K-shaped. I think the person that made the K-shaped comment, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that Gary Keller that made the K-shaped comment popular? Dividing markets by geography and prosperity, meaning national averages will mask differing local realities. Anticipates a 10% inventory growth, and the mortgage rate lock-in effect is fading. Rick, it is calling to your lock-in effect that you talked about last year. We'll get to that shortly. So yeah, I mean, Compass's prediction sounds about right, I would say. I don't have a ton to argue with their prediction, but also it's hard to be wrong if you're predicting a 1% variation on the rate. So, but I am kind of interested in this luxury prediction outperforming the entry level. That's interesting. Okay, let's go to Realtor.com. Now, last year, Realtor.com had a really cool graph where they kind of compared the previous year and this year. They had what happened, but they didn't have what they predicted. So they backed off from that a little bit. But the forecast rates to average 6.3% and end the year at 6.3% is what Realtor.com says. They expect steadier, more balanced market with negotiating power shifting subtly towards buyers. Home prices will rise modestly by 2.2%, and existing home sales should climb 1.7% to 4.13 million. Their bold predictions was that for sale inventory would continue to recover up nearly 9% year over year. Let's see. Home prices will decline slightly for the second consecutive year as inflation is expected to grow more than 3%. Unemployment is expected to climb further, but not to exceed 5%. Federal Reserve leadership transition will end on May 15th. Okay, just a couple more. Redfin, 30-year fixed rate, 6.3%. They predict the start of the Great Housing Reset. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know what that means, but that's what they're predicting. A long period of gradual sales increases and price normalization. So the Great Housing Reset is price normalization. Home buying affordability will improve as wages grow faster than prices. That's good. Median U.S. home sale price is expected to rise 1%. Wow, this is a really different. Existing home sales are predicted to rise 3%. They forecast mortgage refinance volume to increase. I'm not really concerned about that. A high housing costs will reshape households, leading to more multi-generational living, roommates, and falling fertility rate. Interesting. Redfin expects NAR to step out of the role as industry rulemaker for MLSs, sparking consolidation. That's good. Zillow, on their predictions, Matt says, I also worked there during the commission days, and it was crazy selling TVs and audio equipment.
We're going to do a whole episode on Circuit City one day. The parallels between it and the real estate industry.
Yeah, I mean,
terrifying.
Yeah. Few changes here and there, some debts here and there, some legal troubles here and there. Mm-hmm.
Sounds familiar.
Some changes in how people buy here and there. All right,
Sounds
so
like Zillow too.
yeah, it does sound like Zillow, actually. Especially if Google gets into the game. All right, speaking of Zillow, they predict rates to stay above 6%. Expect healthier, more balanced market. Home values are forecast to rise modest to 1.2%. Existing home sales forecast at 4.26 million, a 4.3% increase over 2025. New construction will see its weakest year since before the pandy, with single-family starts expected to drop 2% further. By the way, Matt, I don't know if you're at a place, but see what single-family starts did this year.
Okay.
The number of major markets seeing annual price declines is projected to fall from 24 markets to 12. AI will evolve from helpful assistant to transaction coordinator, managing tasks like scheduling and negotiations end to end. Oh, I wish. My transaction coordinator is pretty great, though. It'd be hard. It would be real hard to replace my transaction coordinator with AI currently. Cotality, which Dusty earlier remarked, sounds like fatality. Yes. Cotality. Cotality says they expect, and this is core logic, by the way, expected to stay above 6%. And their rate predictions. Oh, wait, did I just read the wrong? No, that's the same. Anticipates modest recovery. National home price growth forecast to climb about 3%. Rising, and this is their bold prediction, rising non-mortgage costs like insurance, property taxes could cause an escrow shock or localized delinquency spikes. Let's see. Persistent inventory shortages will continue to deepen regional disparities and a K-shaped recovery. That's the second K-shaped recovery prediction. Fannie Mae, they forecast the 30-year fixed rate to average 6% for the year, falling to 5.9 by Q4. Predicts total home sales growth of 8.9%, existing sales growth of 9.6%. And single-family housing starts single-family housing starts growth is forecast to be negative 2.4%. So another downer on the housing starts. Okay. As of September. I can't click.
Yeah, I don't know why. The last one I saw was October 17th. 25, but
Okay.
it's not giving me access to that one for some reason. But yeah, September 2025, provided by the Census Bureau, 1.307 million.
Was that up or
1.3.
down from the previous year?
Yeah, a little bit down actually. I found another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember your predictions, but I do.
I do. That's the only one.
Okay.
That's the only one. Yeah, it was down 6.5% from 24.
Nice.
24 was 6.9% up actually, so it was 6.5 the other way.
Okay.
So it's a difference of like 13-ish percent.
Okay.
Total.
Interesting.
Noticeable.
Noticeable different. Yeah. It's you were only about 23% off, I think. But Mortgage Bankers Association, we'll talk about it. Mortgage Bankers Association, this is the last forecast. Their forecast an average of 6.4% by late 2026, anticipates a mild shift in the broader economy, and U.S. unemployment rate is expected to increase 4.6% by the end of 2026. Okay, just a comment on employment rates and rates. If you want a lower interest rate, you need the unemployment rate to climb. If you have an incredibly strong economy and you lower the interest rate and jobs are full, then you're going to have wild inflation. Welcome to 2022. So if you lower the rates too much and the economy's great, all the prices on everything goes up. If there's still some unemployment, meaning that there's more jobs out there that people aren't filling, then you can lower the rate and people can expand to fill those positions. So that's what we're hoping will happen, is that we can lower the rate for growth and that more people expand the growth and they have additional positions open for people to fill, and then you can fulfill all the orders. So, okay.
I'm surprised that only one group mentioned employment, and with the advent of AI,
Yeah,
it's one thing that scares me. And if it takes off as anywhere near like some are prognosticating, it could cost people their homes that are currently in their homes.
yeah.
I mean, I'm very surprised only one of those groups brought that up.
Yeah. I wonder, I think that's because they're all really confused. When Trump took office and started doing the whole tariff dance, everyone was like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. Expect 6 to 10% unemployment. And just never happened. So I think they're all a little confused because what they thought was going to happen didn't happen. And it's got real economists scratching their heads because what they thought, how they thought the economy worked, it's not working that way. So now they're asked to give a bold prediction and forecast for 2026. And I think that's why it was a little harder to find them this year. I don't think they're real excited about giving these predictions because they truly don't know. But not this show. We know. All right, what I'm doing now, let me see. I got to look up. What I had to do was summarize each column to give us just a broad overview of the market. And then we'll get into our predictions. Featured on the prediction shows Ray, Matt, Rick, Jill, Andy, Scap, Elizabeth, and Armando. And then we have also Anthony. He made one prediction. So that's what I have from last year from the comments and who kind of made the most predictions through there. Jack, I think I had a rate prediction from you, but it didn't make my sheet for some reason. So sorry.
No, I just recently chimed in on your Instagram,
okay.
but I was sick last year.
Oh, that's
Painful
right.
not
That's
to
right.
be there. Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring it up. All right, here we go. Let me change. Let's go with this one. Okay. Last year, the biggest news of 2025. So first, what was the biggest news of 2025? If you think everything that happened this last year, what was the biggest news story of 2025? Not the prediction. What was the actual story? I want to say it's Compass.
Total Compass Anywhere or Compass
Yes.
Private Exclusive?
Yes. I think
Compass
Compass
buyout.
dominated the headlines with both private exclusives and also the merger of Anywhere. I think that's enormous. But the biggest news story is probably the battle between Compass and the MLSs in Compass and Zillow. I'm trying to remember what happened before that. We did have some presidential stuff in there, but I think that's probably the industry related biggest news story. Rates were kind of a nothing burger. They said what they were going to do. They pretty much did it. Am I wrong? Is there any other big news story out there?
I mean,
No.
it's not. Sorry, Andy, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the wildfires in LA.
Yeah.
Was a big one, but it wasn't national. So, I mean, in terms of like impact, I don't know. To me, that was one of the biggest ones because of the impact. Like we I think this is the first year without a hurricane in a long time. Like, I don't know, just natural occurrences to me are always something that we should be looking at.
What about all the climate change data? What do you mean no hurricane? Didn't the climate change data say it would be worse now?
Yeah.
How about the idea of a 50-year mortgage being pretty much universally rejected?
That was a short news cycle for that one. Yeah, that was out there, but it was a short news cycle for sure.
Or the portable mortgage that would go nowhere, unfortunately.
That one's so much more interesting, though, than the 50-year. I think the 50-year mortgage was just like a tactic for Trump to go, hey, let's, things are a little slow this week.
Yeah.
Let's float this idea out there and see how people respond.
Well, you also have
You
to
could
think
take
like the
$300.
world that operates is not residential anymore. He's doing 50-year, land loans and stuff. Like it's just it. So he's thinking, yeah, 50-year mortgage, why not? So he's just not
The Epstein files are supposed to be released Friday, so we'll see what gets floated out there to
That is an island.
make everybody happy.
Epstein was a
estate,
huge
yeah.
story that continues, which is interesting with a variety of people blocking and then not blocking and then blocking and not blocking. The government shutdown was a big news story. That was big, but again, it didn't last very long. So the news story went away. I would say the longest lasting industry specific news story has been Compass. Let's see what we said would be the biggest news story. Matt said, well, go ahead, Mike.
That and the Zillow lawsuits, like what's going to happen with disclosure and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I was going to say. Like the biggest news stories were multiple ones on Zillow, like all the lawsuits and everything that are coming down on them.
Yeah.
Which it also includes the fight with Compass.
Yeah, it's true. I would agree with those assessments. So Zillow and Compass dominated the headlines. Matt said the increase in sales volume would be a big news story. Rick said the lock-in effect would be big news, that people would just still be waiting. Jill said the biggest news story would be the launch of a national MLS. Sadly, Jill, that didn't happen. And Zillow. She did say that Zillow would dominate the headlines, which is accurate. I said, see, it's not working would be the dominant narrative, that this year the government would make a change. I think I specifically said something about oil reserves, and people would say, yep, but 3 days later, gas is still high. It's not working. See, it's not working. And everything that the president would do, the media would say, see, it's not working, because they would be looking for an immediate change instead of a change over time. Which I don't think that's wrong. There was tons of see, it's not working type news, but that's not industry specific. So I would say the industry specific winner would be Jill on that. She was the most accurate in that prediction. Okay, so I am ready. You're going to hear me repeat your prediction and your name as you make it this year, but go ahead and drop it in the comments. Scap said DA Bears being 10-4 right now. Da Bears. Matt LaMarche over on LinkedIn. I meant to hit up Rick. Went to Portland. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I was watching the show back, I was like, oh God, Rick's in Portland, Maine. We were in Portland, Maine for 2 nights. My bad, Rick. Next up, we're going to end up spending summers, I think, in Maine.
Those are pretty.
Beautiful, but yeah, Portland was wild in the best way possible.
What the lobster roll?
Oh, I mean, I had lobster omelets, lobster rolls, lobster pizza. I mean, that was started to taste like soap by the end of the week, but it was still.
My brother said that he had so much.
You guys gotta let me know when you come up. When you guys come up to New England, you got to let me know.
Yeah, we should make a
Ray's
trip.
going to do a road show. He's going to do a road
show. Let's see. What's up, guys? I see Caroline over there. Yes, but the tariffs were also implemented in a way that were originally stated. Yeah, okay. I'm making sure I get to the Instagram comments. What's up, guys? All right, make your predictions. If you're on Instagram, I'll try to, I'm going to shout out your name. But make a prediction. What do you think the biggest news story of 2026 will be? What is the biggest news story of 2026?
The divestiture of Zillow.
Andy says what? The what?
Divestiture. Like Bell, AT&T, where they had to split apart. They're going to, I think the government could come in and split them off.
So are they going to be like brokerage versus online platform, or how are they going to?
Is this your bold prediction, Andy, or is this the biggest news story?
You know what? This should be my bold prediction.
Okay. We'll keep that as your bold prediction.
Let's pin that.
I feel like it's going to be hard to escape Zillow in the headlines, because remember, we're talking about Zillow being in the headlines for all the lawsuits that were filed. Next year is the year they fight them. So I think Zillow dominating the headlines is going to be the biggest news of 2026 as it relates to the industry. I'm going to put that down for my prediction.
I mean, I would imagine there's going to be more lawsuits.
Yeah.
More areas, it'll be more areas, you know, what if brokerages, especially those smaller brokerages that were, you know, Flex or whatever, you know, partnering with them,
right,
can be going after them for, you know, certain things.
Yeah.
So those are coming. There's more coming. There's got to be.
And one of the things,
more lawsuits. More lawsuits is a bold prediction.
Jack says more lawsuits. Yeah. Well, I think
you might even have a website for it.
I think you're safe to say that more lawsuits. I'll put Jack and Andy in the same box and say more lawsuits in 2025 will dominate the headlines. I'll say specifically Zillow. Let's see. More mergers. Rick says more mergers, lenders, and brokers. Oh, RESPA has the potential to also be in the headlines. Dusty Martin says biggest news story prediction: how many times Zillow gets headlines for being sued or potential nefariousness by sheer volume. Someone was going to say something on Clubhouse. I interrupted you. Was that Mike?
Yeah. My bold prediction is that Zillow.
Wait, hang on. We're just in the biggest news story. It's not a bold. It's just what's going to dominate the headline. That's fine. It's easy to get confused. Your biggest news story is your like wild conspiracy theory type of take that people are going to think, but you actually believe it's going to happen. That's your bold news, your bold prediction. Your biggest news story is just what's going to be the dominating narrative as we look back on 2026.
For real estate specifically, I would say that Zillow is going to buy Real Scout, and it's going to make more agents get paranoid and find other CRM/IDX options.
So Mike says the biggest news story is that Zillow is going to buy Real Scout, and people will
integrate it with Follow Up Boss.
Integrate it with Follow Up Boss and all the other stuff they got going. Glenda also thinks that Zillow's going to buy Real Scout.
The writing's on the wall.
Caroline, is that prediction that you just dropped on Instagram? I think that's a bold prediction, right? Infinite Solutions, BYAB. What's up, Antonio? Isn't that Antonio? The picture's real small. Definitely more lawsuits in 2026. My prediction for 2026 is that property portals will be the go-to search instead of the MLS. Interesting. I'm going to put that as your bold prediction. All right, let me make sure I got everybody in here. All right, if you want to make a biggest news story prediction, it's just what is going to dominate the headlines in 2026. Drop it in the comments wherever you're watching from, and I'll pick it up there. Scap, I see you're flickering.
I have my biggest news prediction is the comeback of the subprime mortgage this year.
Oh, subprime is back. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. That's scary.
that will be the biggest news story this year.
Okay. Let's see. Caroline in the Instagram comments. I have a bunch of Instagram stories that are asking these questions, and Caroline says something with Zillow. So Scap says subprime coming back is going to be big news. That would be big news if that happened. All right. So drop your, Matt Lamar says Compass leaves NAR. Is that a bold prediction?
No, that's news.
That's just news. That's just news.
Yeah,
Compass
really
is out.
And now we'll see how all of the anywhere stuff shakes out, because I think if of any prediction you could have made in terms of the administration side of it, like I think he will let it go through. I mean, Donald Trump will absolutely allow this to happen. But because they're 340,000, if all of the anywhere agents.
Oh, yeah.
That's how many agents they would have. That's roughly like 25% of NAR.
That would be really big news. You're right.
That would be huge. I think the smaller prediction or news headline on that would be that they create their own national MLS, because after looking at their technology a couple years ago, before I was deciding to make a switch, they have a really, really good program. And I hate to give anyone credit for anything, but they really do. And it's quite impressive. So.
Okay. That is Antonio over there. What's up, man? Antonio, Mr. Portugal. Hug from the other side of the pond, right? What's up, man? He's over on Instagram. I'm sorry, who was saying that?
That's me, Andy.
What's up, Andy?
NAR allowing state and local boards to be coupled.
Andy says NAR allowing state and local boards to be coupled?
Decoupled.
Decoupled. Okay, decoupled from them. I see what you're saying. I thought you meant joining up as one big pie. But you're saying no longer associated with NAR. Okay. That's a nice news story. I like that. I would love if that happened.
I would absolutely love that.
Okay. Let's move on to the rate. Everyone's favorite. What is your rate prediction for the end of 2026? End-ish of 2026. What do you think is going to happen with the rates? Drop a comment. Matt Lamar says 4.9%. Taking Scap's answer before he could answer.
Can't be wrong.
Here's a couple of commenters that came in through Instagram. Cindy Eudora. Or I'm sorry, I just totally botched your last name. Uriah. I don't think I've ever said your last name, Cindy. Uriona? Is that right? Sorry, my glasses, and it's a small name. She said 5.58%. All Marblehead says 6%. That's Jack. Caroline.
Uriona.
Say it again, Cindy.
Well, here in America, we say Uriona, but the proper pronunciation is Uriona.
Oriona. I like that one way better. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever said your last name.
you would like the original version before
Oriona.
They made my father shorten it. It was Uriona Bernaccia.
Oriona Barnechea.
There you go.
Yeah,
You
there
did
go.
really well.
Okay. I like it. I sound so
All right,
exotic.
all right, Ray. Since I know what rate I just got, I am going to say
This is SCAP, by the way.
I am going to say 5.975.
5.975 is the exact appraiser SCAP prediction. Okay.
Exactly.
Caroline says 5.125%. Matt Farrell says 6.25%. And Sarah Thorpe says 5.25%. Have a couple of comments on YouTube. What's up, Hillary says 5.75%. And she says, let's go. That's grossly misspelled. Rick says 6.25%, a big nothing burger. Matt says 5.5%. And I think that is well, hang on. I've got some folks on WhatsApp too.
So this will be determined the day of the next year's prediction
Correct.
show on a Fannie Mae rate.
Yeah, on a normal, I Googled the same thing every time. And so I'm just going to Google the current national average. And Yvonne, let's see, Kelsey in Realtor, Yvonne Kelson Realtor on Instagram. You can't cop out. She says, I think it's state specific depending on what homes you're selling in your area. You can't you just gotta make a prediction. We're talking about national averages. You just got to do it.
Can I pipe in as a previous champion?
Oh, she said, I didn't think you were talking about interest rates. Yes, we're talking about interest rates. Make a prediction, Yvonne. Now I'm going to hold you to it. Hang on. Let me throw some of these from WhatsApp in there. Courtney said, I'm thinking she's going to be on replay crew, and so is Elizabeth. I'll go ahead and get the predictions in. Courtney says 6.02%. And Elizabeth didn't put a rate in there. I don't see a rate in there. All right. Okay. And now who was talking? Go ahead and as a previous champion.
As a previous champion, getting ready to regain my belt. I'm going to say average is going to be 5.75. The low watermark is going to be 5.5, and it's going to end the year at 5.875. And that's going to be because unemployment figures are going to suck.
Okay, Mike.
The Fed's going to get a new chairman.
Mike, say that one more time.
Unemployment figures are going to...
No. Say your rate prediction one more time.
5.75 for the average for the year.
5.75 for average. Okay.
5.5 for low water.
5.5 for low. All right.
And year end will be 5.875.
Year end 5.875. Okay.
Yep.
Andy Rose says 5.625 is his. Look at that photo, Andy. Okay, guys. Those are our rate predictions. That's what the mortgage rates will be in 2026. Are you ready to hear how accurate you were last year?
Before we do that,
What?
I asked Grok, can we start to include AI's guesses in here?
I mean, yeah, why not? What does Grok say the rates will be at the end of the year?
I like Grok because I feel like it's a little what's the word?
Creepy.
Probably the most realistic in terms of like.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I've gotten some wild answers from like ChatGPT and others.
I mean, any wilder than SCAP?
Well,
Well, I mean, no. This is Matt. Let's just put this out there. Matt's using Gronk. This is why his values are always off as compared to mine.
Oh,
my values are pretty spot on. His are a little off because of Gronk. I will tell you the problem. Just that if you had to guess.
That's hilarious.
I'm not looking for a solid number. Grok says if I had to guess what a 30-year fixed mortgage rate would be in 1 year, 2026 December, I'd put them at 6.0 to 6.2. So we got a lot of people in that range.
Okay, yeah,
Which
there's quite a few.
is very close to my prediction. So thank you, Matt.
Well, yours have been null and void because you got 5 total points last year.
4 to 5%. Yeah. It's very close. Okay. Let's see. Mia said 6%. Trying to make sure I get everyone in here. Okay. I think we have all the predictions done live. Okay, so let's take a look back. Let's take a look back to last year, December 18th, and what we all thought rates would be at the end of 2026. Jill said 5.25%. She said she was very bullish. Rick said 5.875%. Matt said 5.15%. Scap said 6.3% and then changed it to 5.59%. So he went from negative to bullish. Ray said 5.25% and Andy said 5.25%. So do we have a drum roll? I really should have probably gotten that sound effect because that sounded like somebody purring. That was bad.
I should have just stayed with my original one. Damn it.
All right. Rates as of today for the historical timeline for a year, but it's a weekly national average, is 6.28%. Oh, that's right. That's right, everyone. That means that Ray and Andy were the closest. We were within 0.03%. So I would say if anyone's listening, hi. I also want to note that was way more accurate than any of the predictions from the quote unquote professionals that we just looked at. I don't think anyone had 6.25%. And it being 6.28% today. The closest was Realtor.com saying it would end the year at 6.3%. Redfin said it would average 6.3%. But that's it. Those were the closest ones. Everyone else was way off.
The closest was Scap with his original one. But okay, we're good.
Oh, what? I have note here that says it was changed to 5.59%.
Yeah,
okay. So that's what we're gonna go for.
Well, I know, but my original thought was well on point. But okay, don't listen to the appraiser because we just suck.
That's funny. All right, so there we have it. So Ray and Andy won the rate comp last year. We'll see how close we get. I haven't made my prediction for next year yet. I think it's going to be lower because what I think is going to happen for 2026. I don't think the Fed's going to make many changes in the beginning of the year, and that's going to cause some economic strife. We're going to see some unemployment figures go up. And so whenever the new guy gets in June, it's going to necessitate a bigger move. And I think he's immediately going to go in for a 0.5 point. So because of that, rates may from now to that point be a little bit steady, like 6.25, 6.3, 6.4. But I think once that happens, I think we're going to end the year closer to 6. So I think end of year, my rate prediction is that we'll end the year at 6% and we'll be heading lower with a good expanding economy. All right. Market prediction. So I'm going to kind of quickly go through this because we're running a bit out of time. So last year, Matt predicted that the front half of the year would be gangbusters. The sideliners would jump in. Migration continues around the U.S. In June, it would start to flatten. By the end of the year, it'd be balanced or normal. Yeah, maybe. I don't think the beginning of the year was as gangbusters as we thought, but it has been relatively flat or down.
Wow, I misunderstood. I just thought you were talking about my year in general. Okay, my bad.
That's hilarious.
No, so the problem with this one for me, this prediction generally, I mean, obviously if you're looking at national,
yeah,
it's going to be really hard. But I think as we get back to a little more balance, like here in Georgia, I think we're at like 5 months of inventory, which is just about balanced. So yeah, that's close-ish.
Okay. That makes it, say it one more time, say it clearer.
That I
What?
had an amazing year. I'm not. Which part?
No. That you kind of broke up on my side a little bit.
Oh, okay, my bad. The balance part, like as far as being a balanced market, like we have 5 months of inventory here.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, so we're almost balanced. So I feel
Got
like
it.
I'm kind of there, but
Okay.
I think we're going to see a true balance 6 to 9 months of inventory across the board nationally. You're still going to have pockets where people are abandoning, some areas, but for the most part, I think you're going to see a lot more balanced market in general.
Okay. Balanced market in general for the year is your prediction, is Matt's prediction for 2026.
For the market.
Okay,
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
market.
Mhm.
Rick, market
Do we have
prediction
a, do we have a
said,
barometer for this?
it's a little bit
Like
feels, but
number of
also
sales?
it's a lot of the data, that we're looking at.
Is it number of sales?
It could be number of sales. It could also be like when people are predicting if it's going to be a buyer or seller's market. Like you would say in most parts of the country now, it's leaning towards a buyer's market. It's not a heavy buyer's market, but it's leaning there. It's definitely not a seller's market in most parts. So that's kind of what we're using. It's just the economic
The feel
data
of it
that we
all?
have. It's a little bit feels, but it's more of consensus feels.
All right.
Rick said, rolling back to 2024 vibe, no major changes, rates, inventory, sentiment, maybe a slight uptick if rates break into 6s. Andy said there was going to be a refi boom in the 5s. Oh,
Hey, I was close. There was like a 2-week period a few months ago.
Yeah.
Where there was a small refi boom.
Yeah, that's true. It is like 13% higher than it was the previous year, yo. So, I mean, it's just not being reported that way.
No, of course not. Why would we report good news?
I said the market will feel better than 2024. It's ironic that I'm reading this now, though, because I've said this so many times this year. It would feel more like 2017 or 2018 balance. Sellers need to price right and make concessions if it's not cute. Remember I said if the house doesn't have the cuteness factor, it's not going to sell very fast, but houses that go on the market that are super cute are going to sell super fast. I think that was fairly close to what's happened. All right, guys, put it in the comments. What do you think is going to happen in 2026? Is it going to be a buyer's market, seller's market, balanced market, or is the market going to crash?
Well, from the appraiser standpoint that nobody cares about anyway, I am going to say that 2026 is still going to be a buyer's market. I see things still going down a little bit in certain areas, and I just don't see it rebounding to, pre-COVID or just post-COVID, times. I see this people being very hesitant on purchasing a home. So I really think that it's going to still be a buyer's market in 2026, at least for the first half of it.
Okay.
But again, it all depends upon interest rates. It all depends upon what the Fed does and everything. So that could change. But overall, I still think it's going to be a buyer's market.
Okay. So you think it's going to be a buyer's market. Scap says it's going to be a buyer's market overall. I do want to bring up one more thing because this was left off of Andy's, but I distinctly remember it. Andy did say that there would be some people getting the 5.5 rates if they have good credit. And that is what's happening. Actually, Caroline said their buyers just closed with a 5.5% rate. So there you go. I'll give you those props, Andy. All right. So make your predictions. We have Scaps. He says it's going to be buyers. Who else?
Well, then again, Ray, how many people have that good of credit in this country to actually, get that good of a rate? So again, it's all fluid. It all depends on what goes.
That's why we go with the general rate prediction.
They're still out there, honestly. I mean, they're still people with great credit because there's people that still have done well. They bought the house, so they didn't have to go through buying a house when the market went crazy.
Yeah.
Post bid, and then they sat on all this equity. They've done right by it, and they got great credit. They're still.
But it does depend. I mean, most people took advantage of the COVID era type interest rates, and they have those rates. So a lot of people are sticking with them as opposed to selling their homes and taking on a 6.2 or 6.3 interest rate versus their sub 3. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. So to me, I still think that right now people are still being hesitant to buy, and they're waiting for things to come down. And because there's such an influx of listings out there, I mean, look, my wife and I were bidding on a bunch of homes out there, and we didn't get a couple. We got one that we got for cash, and that was great. But it all depends on what's going on with what you have and the interest rates and everything. So I still think that people are now saying, "Hey, I'm going to keep waiting and keep waiting and keep waiting until these prices come down." And every home we actually bid on that they denied us have actually been put back on the market and actually are less than what we actually bid on. So
well, there's a couple of reasons why that happens. One is the preferential treatment for a lot of those houses are going to go to owner occupants and not the investor. But then we said this last year, actually, in the prediction special, that buyers would be very cognizant and dependent on condition, and if the property's not in the right condition, they wouldn't be able to afford it. So I think that's what you're seeing there too. Let me get to Rick's prediction. He said that balanced market, not enough sellers due to lock-in, and not enough buyers because of affordability. Dusty Martin says in her prediction, the return to historical norms, pre the previous decade of craziness. Yeah, okay. Matt says stable, transitioning from seller to balanced. Hillary, she says home values will decrease by 50%. Hey, that's what Melody Wright from Newsweek said, so it must be true. 50? Did she really say a 50% decrease? That's crazy. Or did she say that the home price gains will slow by 50%? In other words, prices are still going up. It's just 50% less fast. Because sometimes they'll phrase those weird. Let's see. Your North GA Realtor said more balanced sellers will get a clue and agree to price more realistically. Yeah, right. I wish. Dusty Martin says one last prediction. Short term. I'm about to pass out face down in this massage table. That's funny. Okay. My prediction, I think it's going to be I think the first half of the year is going to be a buyer's market. Second half of the year is going to be a balanced / seller's market. I think it's going to start leaning back towards sellers because inventory hasn't caught up. And if rates do touch the 6s and people can get pretty good rates in the 5s, I think you're going to see a big return from people. Even though you have lock-in, there's going to be people that said, yeah, we have lock-in, but we've been living with that lock-in for 3 years. I'm just tired of living in the same place. Let's move. So I think you're going to have people that just give up and say, yeah, if we want to move, we got to move because the kids are getting bigger. The house is getting smaller. So I'm going to say first half of the year, buyer's market, second half of the year, seller's market / balance, depending on where you are.
So my challenge here is that, and why I was looking for a benchmark is that I live in a K market where I sell from $700,000 to $7 million. And those with that market's hot on the high end.
Really?
And I'm seeing, a way into a buyer's market on the lower end, especially under $1 million. So without a benchmark, I'm sitting this one. I'm on the sideline.
Okay.
But
I like it.
But that's a real thing. That there's a lot more people with a lot more money, and they're looking for that trophy house.
Yeah, true.
So that's
I think especially in your market.
Seller's market.
I'm going to say.
I think it's in any high-end good metro is going to have it.
Yeah, and anyone that used to be very heavy Airbnb, there's a lot of people kind of waiting for the ideal place right now and just written it out.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Jack, by the way, future AI that's going to be correlating the names and calls. That was Jack. Okay, let's look at our bold predictions for 2025. Matt, he didn't see my national MLS happening. He expected post-January 20 energy to cool. Inflation feels controlled. Builders build. First half is busy. This is bold prediction. No national MLS. Let's see. Rick says, now this one, Rick, is impressive. I echoed Rick's prediction here, but I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Rick was first to predict it. Major brokerage M&A. 2 big players combine. So, and we said several examples. We did not say the example Compass in Anywhere, but we said several examples that were kind of that size. So Rick, kudos to you for getting that. Rick goes on to say that the new president will be impeached in Q3 and Q4, but not convicted. I don't know if you saw this, Rick, but there were 3 or 4 times where they tried to pass a vote to impeach him. So they did not impeach him. So I can't give you credit for the back half, though they tried. So there you go. Jill said aliens land in New Jersey. And she said explicitly framed as out of this world, not foreign aliens. And if you recall, last year at this time, we had all those weird things in the sky and everyone was like, what's going on? Y'all remember that? Turns out, apparently it was Chinese spy balloons or something. I don't know. Andy said more state and local boards decouple from NAR. That was his prediction, his bold prediction from last year. Scap said Zillow AI is wrong and useless. Fannie and Freddie exit conservatorship, causing havoc. An appraisal profession issues a change on how it's done. So Scap, I'm going to come to you. Did they issue a big change on how the appraisal profession is done this last year? Did that come to fruition? Did you see that happen?
Actually, it kind of did, because they are now getting rid of a requirement for appraisers to have a college degree. They also have instituted many other items such as hybrid appraisals and AVMs and things like that have taken over the appraisal profession and not allowing traditional appraisals where they can actually do other things. So yeah, there's been a major shift in the appraisal profession as far as the traditional way versus now.
Okay, cool. I'll give you credit for that one. You also made the bold prediction that you would beat Matt by 6 strokes. Did that happen?
Nope. Well, let's just go back to cobblestone.
That was very fast. It says nope.
No. We will go back to cobblestone. Yeah, and we will make that an actual prediction that I did beat him by 6 strokes.
That's hilarious.
You know what
he did, but he did beat me on another occasion, and then we kind of were close. But I did beat him by 6 strokes. I do believe at cobblestone, when he took his first tee shot into the woods and his second one into the woods. So I do believe that did happen.
That was too much meta golf, honestly. We found a good rhythm though now with it. So I predicted it'll be 12 strokes this year, though.
That he will beat you by 12 strokes?
No, not a chance.
Armando said 5 new 3-letter cloud brokerages. Agents cycle through them. There are a lot of little brokerages locally, a ton of little local brokerages, which I thought was real interesting because it's tough to have a local brokerage right now. Elizabeth said the national MLS in 2025, which we haven't gotten. I said the national MLS. Also said that Razorbacks would win the basketball championship. We did not. I said Georgia wouldn't make the tournament. They unfortunately did make the tournament. They did not last even one round, though.
Who did win the championship in basketball?
It was, I don't remember. I don't remember. Actually, isn't that funny? Once the Razorbacks lose, I lose interest so fast. It's not even funny. Government. I said that government would start to back alternative materials for regular houses for loans, and they are. That discussion came a lot further towards the end of the year as something that could be done. They're cutting tons of red tape, so I think that did not get done this year, but it may be something that actually happens next year because of the groundwork that was laid this year. And I said also tiny homes. And then I said there would be 35,000 agents at Real, and Real stock would hit $10. I was very close in agent count. Publicly, we are at 31,000 agents as of last month. We are higher than that now by thousands. I can't say what because it's not public and I'm not going to release public information for real, but I am not far off at all. I'll say that. I'm not going to give myself a point for it because I didn't hit it, but I'm not far off, which is pretty wild. And I did not get points for the stock hitting $10. Actually, all real estate stocks tanked and we're sitting at about $4 now. So poop. It was higher.
What did Real start the year at, Ray?
Let's see, year to date. It says we started at 4.6, but if I look a year ago, it was at 5. So when I made the prediction to be at 10, we were sitting at 5.
I'm sorry, number of agents.
Oh, number of agents. Last year we were, I want to say half that because I predicted it would double to 35.
That's awesome. You guys have done an amazing job.
Thank you.
It's a core group of you guys that are carrying the water on that. That's awesome.
It's growing quick. I mean, it's just pouring into each other is what's doing it. So as long as we continue to do that, it'll continue to grow. As soon as we stop doing that, it'll stop. Okay. So get your predictions in. What's your bold prediction for this coming year? I feel like I had another prediction that didn't quite make the rundown, but what is your bold prediction for this coming year? What is something that somebody may make fun of you and say you're a conspiracy theorist, but you know that this thing is going to happen. Mike's bold prediction is that Zillow makes a play for EXP or Real. Culturally, I don't think it can make the play for Real. It could hit EXP though. I mean, that's not a bad prediction. I think it may be more of a partnership, but we'll see.
I think their disclosure issue is going to be bigger, and that would force them into just scrapping the model and buying the biggest army of agents out there.
Yeah, that would be EXP. EXP has over 100,000 agents. I think it is. I may be misquoting, but it's a lot.
Yeah, you would see a mass exodus from that. We talked about the exodus of Compass buying the other company.
Yeah.
Not if they're guaranteed a steady stream of leads on.
Yeah.
Or
that's what I'm thinking
make
too.
Up for other agents.
And what split though?
Yeah. Well,
it wouldn't be any worse than they're paying right now with 40% on Flex.
Yeah.
On Flex, but they're forcing all the agents to go to a Flex type model anyways because now they're internal to them. Yeah, I don't think we need.
This is why it's a bold prediction, Andy.
You are right. I apologize.
Mike also put
Bold Agent is my screen name.
Yeah, Bold Agent is literally his screen name. I want to put Mike's market prediction in here too. So Mike said it would be a buyer's market, reduced rates due to poor employment figures, but job security and recession fears tamper demand. That sounds like a headline written for CNBC.
I was a publisher for 23 years. So.
There you go. Rick's bold prediction says, from above, bold prediction, a major brokerage and a major portal agree to merge. So again, kind of echoing Mike's portal play from Zillow EXP, but he did not name a specific one. A major portal. I mean, there's not that many major portals, so we'll see if that happens. All right. Any other bold predictions? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm going the other way. Zillow has to divest.
Zillow has to divest. Oh, yeah, that's right, Andy. Andy says that Zillow is going to be broken up by probably the FTC or these lawsuits.
What they're doing, between the lawsuits, regulators, and all that stuff, they will have to sell off or divest some portion of their business.
Yeah.
My only counter to that would be there's too many competitors. They've got Realtor, they've got Homes, they've got all these other portals that.
Yeah, but they don't have everything that they. I mean, honestly, the conspiracy theories of follow-up boss and getting into all that data, showing time and all of that data. Yeah, they don't. Realtor and the others don't have everything that Zillow has. They're the monster at the top.
Cindy's bold prediction is that Fannie and Freddie will be privatized in 2026. All right, who else? Go ahead,
Here's my
Scap.
bold prediction. I got two of them. One is that there's going to be a new player in the game that's going to take on Zillow, Redfin,
Interesting.
and Realtor.com. And the second is I will beat Matt LaMarche by 8 strokes, not 6, 8 strokes.
He's getting better, and you're getting
Next
worse.
time we
Matt.
go golfing.
Oh boy.
Okay. The next time. So we'll be able to please make note of this on the show.
Hmm.
All right.
Probably
Jack.
Matt, don't beat Matt because Matt's going to be walking around in waders with all that.
That's right. With all that money he's gotten from his retirement from ARA. Jack, did you have a bold prediction?
Yeah, this is Jack with his bold prediction of unemployment, whether it is realized or projected, is going to become a significant challenge to the market.
Nice. Okay. Unemployment, whether it is real or covered up with numbers, we'll say, is going to be a significant challenge.
Yep.
Okay.
And that leans into a lot of the mid to low 5 interest rate predictions.
Yeah. Matt, you got a bold prediction for this year?
Well, I wanted to kind of go back to the aliens because we can't actually confirm whether this has or hasn't happened.
They could have happened.
So, I mean, I feel like that's always going to be a solid bold prediction.
Yeah.
Possibility is always there. No, so I'm going to make 2. The first one is going to be real estate specific. Even though I've already kind of touched on that, I've been thinking a lot about this recently. The divide between like the American dream, ownership, and the people that are just going to go, you know what? I'm never going to be able to afford a home. I make decent money, but I don't value that the way that my parents and grandparents did. And they're going to, kind of like we saw a couple years ago, even pre-COVID, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like a lot of the Gen X, elder millennials, even younger millennials liked the idea of freedom, so to speak. And, you know, the further this divide happens, the greater or the lesser, I should say, the rewards of home ownership become. Now, I don't think that'll be a permanent thing, but I definitely think next year a lot of would-be buyers are going to go, forget it. I'm just not going to do it.
Just spend their money elsewhere.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the other one would be aliens, for sure.
I just throw that one out there. The other one is also aliens, for sure. For sure, aliens. Okay.
Deeper housing shortage because aliens have come out. And now we have
they need places to
the
live.
Uncertainty of aliens and a national MLS are going to be the ones.
Just
crazy.
The biggest questions of our time, right?
Hey, if y'all think it's crazy, just Google aliens housing shortage, and you'll find that people are writing about that now. Okay. All right. Let's see. Who haven't we gotten to with the bold prediction? Let's see. We got Mike, Rick, Jack, Scap, Andy. We got Andy's bold prediction. Terry, Cindy, and hey, Justin. Justin's up here. Did any of y'all want to make Cindy, I got your bold prediction about the privatization of Fannie and Freddie. Terry and Justin, did y'all want to make a bold prediction for what's going to happen in 2026? Conspiracy theory type stuff that you think is actually going to happen, and it may or may not. No. Okay, cool.
Trump buys Canada.
Yeah, the 51st state. Let's go. Let's go.
At least Greenland, right?
Yeah. I mean we were making a run on Greenland for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you want me to go down a crazy conspiracy theorist path,
but you actually have to think it's going to happen, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't really have any crazy conspiracy theorist takes, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a lot of pageantry and politicking, and the average person is still going to have to chop through it. I think it's, in our market anyways, I think it's going to be very difficult for the next 2 years, but primarily because we're dealing with unemployment issues and GDP is very flat. And it's hilarious. I know, Ray, you love Canadian politics. Like, our politicians are running around saying, we're going to launch a mega spa and we're going to turn Niagara Falls into a resource center. I'm like, how about we just become productive and pay people to do jobs? I think if we do that, we'll be okay. But anyway.
That's good. Any other? I like that. Let's see. I was looking for. All right, I'm making sure. I'm sorry, guys. While I'm talking, I'm looking at the other outlets to make sure I've gotten these covered here. So I have several to bring up on the bold predictions. So just want to make sure I got everybody in. Scab says, Ray, last one. Since we were both Bears fans. Bears go to the Super Bowl. What? Yeah. I love that prediction. That's a fun one.
How about the Patriots?
Yeah. that old Drake May is looking good, man. I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Couldn't resist.
Who is currently the CEO over at Keller Williams? Do I remember? Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah. Chris Sarnecki. Chris Sarnecki. So this is my bold prediction. Gary Keller is going to turn 69 this year. John Keller is the executive vice chairman. I think this is the year where Gary announces that he's leaving. I don't know if he's going to leave this year or if he's leaving in a couple of years, but he's going to go to some kind of sage position they're going to make from him, and someone else is going to be the executive chairman of the board. I think dude is tired of fighting all the lawsuits, and now that he sees this mega company called Compass, he's going to look at that and be like, no, I'm out. So I think Gary Keller announces his retirement, succession plan, what have you, in 2026. Another bold prediction that I have is that the Razorbacks will at least get to the Final Four in March. At least the Final Four. I don't know. We have potential to get to the Final Four or be knocked out in the first round. One of the two. But I think they are better than where they were. I'm going to say that at the end of 2026, there's going to be, I'm going to say 45,000. That means we have to grow by the unofficial number of like 15,000-ish, 14,000-ish. So I'm going to say there's going to be 45,000 real agents at the end of the year. And for my last number, for my last bold prediction, I've already made a market prediction, so I'm trying to stay out of the market realm. Let's go with the Fed rate drops. The number of rate drops that the Fed will make are going to be far less than people think, but the percentage points of each drop will be far higher. So I think the Fed, I've kind of already said this in part of my market prediction, but the Fed is not going to drop the rate until he's out. And then the new guy is going to come in and do 2 50 basis point drops back to back. And then from then on, it's going to be maintenance of that or changing it to 0.25. And because of that, home prices are going to be steady and kind of go up. And that's why I think the market, as far as the market goes, it's going to lean towards sellers at the end of the year. And sure, why not? Bears win the Super Bowl. I mean, they have a chance because but it does make me nervous. The youth of the quarterback makes me pretty nervous, but they do have a chance because all the same players are not there anymore. All right.
According to Kalshi, Arkansas actually has a pretty decent chance, 24%.
Chance of what?
Getting to the Final Four.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about football. I'm like, there's no.
No, absolutely not.
There's no way. We do have a shot at getting into the World Series again this year. So we've been there a lot. So it could be a really banner year for Razorback athletics until football season. Then who knows what's going to happen, man. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, pretty realistic.
All right. And the one bold prediction that I haven't made yet, that I've made every year for the past 3 or 4 years, that I think this year it could actually happen, is the national MLS. this is why I think it could happen. I think when the National Association of Realtors heard that data was getting fed into AI, it made them worry. And I think when they see that data also being used on Google, it makes them worry even more. That if they don't get a hold on this, consumers are going to use anyone except real estate agents. So I think this is the year. And we really didn't talk about the shakeup and the numbers and everything like that we did predict in 2025. We talked about how NAR was really going to get shook up because at the time it was crazy. You know, there was all kinds of people resigning from leadership and stuff was happening. They really didn't change much except for faces. And I think this is the year where they're actually going to have to produce some things for agents, or what y'all said, Compass is going to leave. So big companies, gigantic companies, that if they're not served by NAR besides politics, I think they're going to leave. And I think one of the number one ways that you could serve real estate agents is by getting all of the data in one spot and letting consumers search, and then that consumer being sent right to the listing agent if they have a question. So I think they got to do it. So
does that mean that they get Realtor.com back?
You know, we said a couple of months ago, they said that we were talking about there being a potential way to get that back. And I don't remember what that is, but there was a news article that were like, oh, they're probably not using Realtor.com within the standards. Oh, that was because they were thinking about feeding it somewhere else, I think. I don't know. I'll have to remember what that was, but they'd have to get it back. Lloyd.
Yeah, I think they'd have to definitely get it back to do that. I think it would be a great idea if they could, but I would say that they're probably going to do it the following year. If they did it at all, it would be the following year because they're always late to doing things.
They'll have to announce it this year and then do it the following year. Lloyd Dabblers said, I agree. Matt said he asked ChatGPT, I guess, not my chat, and said, this is a great question. And here's a straight unsugar-coated answer. No, a true national MLS will not arrive in 2026, but the pressure for it will become unavoidable. It's kind of what Andy just said too. I'm not going to change. It's an annual prediction. I'm not going to change it. I'm probably going to be disappointed. Thanks, Scap. Scap said this by far is the best show of the year. Thanks, man. Is that good?
100%.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the biggest. It's the biggest show of the year. It's the longest show of the year. I mean, look at that timing.
It's a high bar because they're all great shows.
Oh, look at that.
And bravo, Ray, for keeping us together 47 weeks so far this year.
Thank you. Yeah, I do what I can. Yeah, we'll do another 45 shows. There's a less than bold prediction, but we'll probably do another 45 shows next year. But I wanted to thank all you guys too, because y'all are out there. The reason why I do this show live is to get all the live feedback and to have you guys involved in these conversations, because it's just not what it's, in my opinion, it's not a good show if I'm just sitting here talking the whole time. So thanks to all of y'all for watching. Thanks for tuning in, hitting the subscribe, showing up whenever the show goes live, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Clubhouse or wherever. I appreciate the participation all year. And it's something I look forward to every week because of you guys. So here's to 2026. The next show, I've already got the thumbnail made, so you'll see it. But the next show, you'll be able to add it to your favorites. It's going to be the second week of January. So I will see you guys then. Bye, everybody. Happy New Year. Oh, I've got a Christmas thing here. I do have somebody asked for Christmas. Look at this. Hey, how about that? I got a Christmas outline. You can't hear it on Clubhouse, but I've got candy canes and stuff all around my face now. Merry Christmas, everyone.